Hello everybody and welcome back to another video on the channel, and welcome back to another video where we're talking about another Charlton Athletic manager. I don't know how many of these I've done over the years now. It's honestly getting ridiculous. I'm sick and tired of constantly having to sit here time and time again, having to go over the same old story, getting hyped up about a new managerial appointment, going over his statistics, and then 5 or 6 months later, even shorter for Michael Appleton, thankfully, we're back talking about how it's not gone right. But we have another one announced yesterday, and there's actually a bit of optimism about this one. And I do have to agree. I do have to agree that there is a bit of excitement there. There is certainly some optimism. There's certainly a project there. I said it in my previous video, in which was quite an explosive rant about the situation at the club. And I still stand by my point, as much as I think it is a fantastic appointment and it is an upgrade as to what we had.
Nice.
There is a mammoth of a task ahead for this man, and a hell of a lot of pressure on his shoulders to deliver in what is a very, very alarming situation for the club, where 4th Division football does loom for us. It wasn't really much of a secret. Charlton Athletic have appointed Nathan Jones as the club's new manager, not head coach, manager. This time, that is the key thing there. He has signed a long-term contract with the club. The club have not disclosed how long that contract is. They've just said how it's a long-term deal. And yeah, he was one of the first names mentioned in the conversation to become our new manager. Very early on, obviously has had previous ties with the club, has had a managerial role in the academy setup, before he's obviously gone on to have his career elsewhere with other teams, which of course we're here today to speak about. And as I said, I think a lot of the fan base were very much optimistic about this. They were very sort of, when the odds first come out and when Appleton was sacked, they was looking at the managers that were available. Nathan Jones was one of the first names on that list, and fans were very excited by it and they wanted to see Jones come in. I must also say that the names that we had during our managerial search was quite impressive, to say the least. It's a big upgrade on Appleton, I think, but I think I said it in my last video. I don't know. Look, I'm not an idiot. I know that this is a great appointment, but I just find it difficult to be optimistic, especially with the run of form that we're on right now, how deflated and how lack of confidence and how much lack of quality this current squad has. And I don't see where we're going to get our next point or even our next goal, let alone a win. And that is obviously what Nathan Jones has been brought in to do. Now, he does become the 7th permanent manager, I want to say, in the last 3 years. 12th different man to take charge of a game in the last 3 years, in Lee Bowyer, Johnny Jackson as a caretaker, Nigel Adkins, Johnny Jackson as a caretaker again, then Johnny Jackson permanently, then Ben Garner, then Anthony Hayes, Dean Holden, Jason Pearce, Michael Appleton, Curtis Fleming recently in the last 2 games, and now Nathan Jones. He is the 12th different man that will take charge of a Charlton game in the next 3 years, which is absolutely, it's criminal. It is absolutely criminal how this is the case. But yeah, that's the situation we find ourselves in, and that is one of the main reasons as to why the club has fallen to where it is, to be honest. We just don't give managers time, and I just hope that Jones is given that time, because like I said, I think the project is definitely there with this appointment, but obviously there is a lot of pressure on his shoulders to keep this team in the league. In the event that we do go down, and there is very much a possibility that we could go down, and I still stand by my most recent video, I do think we will go down in the current position we find ourselves in. You'd have to sit there and wonder, will Jones stay in League Two if we do go down, which is a conversation that I think must have been had if it is long term, because surely the management team, the senior management team and the ownership, they have to understand now that the situation we are in is very serious. We're 3 points above the drop, heading into our next game against Reading as well, which is the biggest game of the season. It's a conversation that does need to be had, and we do need to sit there and go, will he be here as long term as his contract suggests, and will he be given the time first and foremost as well, because we need to stop that mentality of managers getting sacked too soon. So obviously with Michael Appleton, it was entirely the right decision, and he should have been sacked a lot sooner. I'm not going to go into detail about the club statement because it's just pointless. All the ins and outs you need to know really is Nathan Jones is the new manager, not head coach, and he has signed a long-term contract, which hopefully we stick by that. There was also rather interesting in the club statement, I'll mention it briefly, that Jim Rodwell actually spoke about the appointment and not Andy Scott, which is quite interesting as to why that was the case. Of course, Andy Scott coming under a lot of fire right now due to, constant sacking of managers and appointing managers and the transfer window panicking, stuff like that. And yeah, but it's not just Scott as well. I think the whole senior management team needs to be called out as well because of the situation we find ourselves in. Because like I said, they are 0-2 with their managerial appointments. I said it in the last video. They are 0-2 now, so they need to really get this one right. And you can definitely see why he appointed Jones. So looking into Jones's career, of course, the club he is most known for is his time at Luton, where he obviously did very well with the Hatters. He got them from, I think he was there in the National League. I might be wrong. I might be wrong with that. He was either League Two or National League. But anyway, he took them from one of those two leagues into League One. And before he left, because I did my research going into this, he actually left in January 2019, which of course was the season that they did get promoted. But he left halfway through the season to take the Stoke job. Jones left halfway through that season, but the bread was in the pudding with what he was doing with Luton. The fact that he got them from where they were, where they had been, and the dire situation that they were in, to get them that far was just incredible. Of course, he took the Stoke job in the Championship, and as we very much know, that was pretty disastrous, to be honest. It wasn't a great appointment at all, and it wasn't a great move for him. I think he won only 6 games out of 38, a win percentage of like 15.8 or something stupid like that, compared to a 51% win rate at Luton before he left. So Stoke just wasn't the right move for him. Of course, after that, he did end up going back to Luton. He took over back in May 2020. So it must have been during the behind closed doors period of when they were in the Championship with us, of course, the following season after he left, when they got promoted to the Championship. Of course, Luton at the time were in the thick of a relegation battle. Charlton obviously the same. And as we very much know, Jones obviously kept Luton up and Charlton ended up going down. And Jones would stay with Luton until November 2022. And in that time, he established Luton from a relegation threatened team to then a mid-table team to then setting the foundations to what they achieved last season. As we know, he left in 2022. That was during the 2022-23 season. And of course, as we very much know, that was the season Luton got promoted to the Premier League. So the story just writes itself, really. Jones did a fantastic job at the Hatters in both stints, not just from getting them from National League or League Two, whatever it was, to League One, to then taking them back over in the Championship, keeping them up, and then pushing them up towards the promotion places is just phenomenal, and just shows how good of a project Luton was. You definitely would sit there and go, with the team that Luton had on paper anyway, you probably would say that they were punching above their weight. That would be an interesting argument, but nevertheless, it's full credit to Jones and to the squad for performing that well. Of course, as we know, after Jones left Luton, he left Luton again, jumping ship for a bigger move, so to speak, and he ended up at Southampton. And I think the less said about his time at Southampton, the better, to be honest. Not so much also his performances, but also his press conferences and the way he spoke about himself. It left him very controversial, as a very controversial figure, and not very liked, and probably rightly so, was sacked by Southampton. It was a very disastrous time. So there is a bit of scepticism with that, in my opinion, because you would have to say that perhaps the bigger moves and the bigger teams with the bigger names, Stoke and Southampton, they don't really fit him as a manager, whereas Luton, obviously, I guess you could say a lesser known team, are more of a project, so to speak. That's where he flourishes. And I think that's why there is the excitement with this appointment, and also why I feel excited to an extent, because we have a project here. Charlton Athletic is a project, because we're in a situation right now where we're fighting relegation. We have a team that should be doing a lot better than what it is. And Jones knows a project when he sees one. He knows what he's done with his time at Luton. He knows what a project is. And that's why I think he is the perfect man for the job, and why I think that it is a fantastic appointment, and it is a significant upgrade on Appleton. Obviously, like I said, his time at Stoke and Southampton will leave question marks. And don't get me wrong, his last managerial job was with Southampton. So that still will be, hanging over him a little bit, and like a dark cloud. And many Charlton fans probably will be thinking that as well, whether that will continue to hear. But I can understand why we have appointed him, because like I said, Charlton is a project, and he knows what a project looks like with his time at Luton. And we all know how well we did with Luton. So there is that optimism. However, the biggest concern with this is obviously if what we see on paper then turns into reality in terms of what we can do on the pitch. Because I did say it in the intro, Jones needs to come in. He needs to galvanise this team. He needs to bring the confidence back. He needs to get them playing as a cohesive unit. And most importantly, he needs to keep us up. It's been, in my opinion, a great January transfer window, and I do need to review the transfer window, and I will do later this week. I think we've signed some decent players. We have some good players on our books, on paper, and we have a very good League One manager in Nathan Jones. It's all there. The project is there. It's just about putting it to the test and making sure that we perform. That's all that matters now. And that's why I said there is a mammoth of a task ahead of Jones, because he needs, like I said, he needs to bring the confidence back into the team, and we need results. I know people have said in the last couple of games, under Fleming, that we've looked a bit better. Obviously, we've got a draw against Blackpool. You probably would sit there and go, yeah, that's a good result. And then apparently against Derby, I didn't watch the full game, but I read very much into the frustrations. I know some people were saying I didn't watch the game, so I shouldn't have an opinion on it. I read the stuff about the game and I take it at face value. I take it what the fans said. Another poor display in the second half when we ran out of ideas. I know we did good stuff in the game. I'm well aware of that. But I don't care if we play well if we don't get the results. I can't celebrate a draw against Blackpool in our position. As much as we will think it's a good result, we need wins. I don't care how well we play. We just need wins. And if we don't get wins, I'm not satisfied. Not in the position that we're in. And that is what Jones needs to come in to do. He needs to win games. Will I think he'll win games? I don't know. I'm sorry, but I don't have an answer, because this team is just shot to pieces, and I have very little faith in this team. Reading on Saturday, I mean, the fact that we've sold the away end, I know we've had an extra allocation, the fact we've sold that out is absolutely ridiculous. I'm going to be going on Saturday, and I'm looking forward to that new ground to tick off, and the atmosphere. Let's face, I think Jones is going to get a very warm welcome, and I think the players will get that support, and they need it. Like the players, they do need that support, and they need to get that confidence back. And I think Jones, hopefully, he took his first training session today. I think he'll be hard at work, he'll be grafting with the boys, and hopefully he'll give them a massive rocket up the backside, because that is exactly what they need. The confidence needs to come back and the performances need to be there. We need to be winning games. It's as simple as that. At this moment in time, not very confident in us getting the wins, but Jones is a good appointment. But it only is a good appointment, and it only is a good project if we stay up. And unfortunately, I don't have much confidence in us doing that. That is it for this video, guys. Hope you guys did enjoy it. If you did, can you possibly leave a like, subscribe if you are new to the channel, turn on this post notifications so you're notified of every time I upload a new video. I must say a massive thank you to the support on the channel recently. It's been absolutely incredible. You guys have really liked my return. More videos to come soon for sure. Welcome to Charlton Athletic, Nathan Jones. I just bloody pray that this time is the right one, and we finally get it right, and we can have a few stable years at least of a manager that doesn't get sacked and it all works nicely. I just hope that this is the right time, because we've had 12, this is the 12th different man technically in different spells in the last 3 years to lead a game, which is just ridiculous. But hopefully this is the last time for a few years. This has been Tyler Rowlinson. Have a nice day, and I'll see you all in the next video. Let's just hope this is the right one. Let's just hope we finally get it right this time. Take care, guys.